Set. Good evening, all. Welcome to Greenville City Council meeting October 10th, 2023. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor White.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilmember Martinez.
Here.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Here.
Councilmember Sims.
Present. All right, thank you very much. Invocation by Pastor Inez Berlugo. I understand that's by Zoom tonight.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. And the interpreter is in the side.
Interpretation.
What?
She needs interpretation.
Oh, okay. Good.
Gonna be on Zoom.
Oh.
And then
Should I
she's
go
gonna
here?
say our invocation.
Sure.
Gracias, muy amable.
Thank you very much. Adelante.
Amado Señor, te damos gracias
Lord, we give you thanks
por este día que tú nos has dado
for these days that you have given to us.
y te pedimos que seas tú con el concilio en esta mañana, en esta tarde,
And we ask that you are here present with the City Council this evening,
y que tu poder se siga manifestando a través de sus vidas.
and that your presence continue being present in their lives.
Dale sabiduría para los negocios de esta tarde
Give them wisdom for them to run the business of today.
y bendice sus familias y toda la ciudad de Greenfield.
Bless their families and everyone in the city of Greenfield.
Te pedimos por el departamento de policía,
We ask you for the police department,
de los bomberos
firemen,
y de todas las agencias que ayudan en Greenfield.
and all the agencies that help the city of Greenfield.
En el nombre de Jesús.
In the name of Jesus,
Amén.
amen.
Thank you.
All right, well, everyone, please stand for the flag salute. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Move to agenda review.
No changes, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Public comments from the audience regarding items not on the agenda. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the city council on any items not on closed session, consent calendar, public hearings, and city council business. Under state regulations, no action can be taken on non-agenda items, including issues raised under this agenda item. Members of the public should be aware of this when addressing council regarding items not specifically referenced on this agenda. Do we have any public comments?
Go ahead, Beatriz.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Excuse me. I attended the press conference with Senator Ana Caballero. Thanks to her for getting us funding for $2 million for a radio tower here in our beautiful city of Greenfield. This will provide police officers with the ability to communicate quickly, securely, and to a wide range of people. A special thanks to our chief of police, Mixer, for going after this And I wanted to say this because I'm still kind of, surprised, the reason why Miss Councilmember Ortiz, is sitting there. On an NBC article dated August 15, 2011, it talks about an ugly conflict. She talks about an ugly conflict had been brewing between longer-term residents and newcomers from another part of Mexico. It talks about Triquis, Mixtecos, and other indigenous people, and they speak their own languages. The article states that Ms. Ortiz became displeased with the migrants that after more than 5 decades in Greenfield, she left her cul-de-sac home and moved to Salinas. The article states that you and newly formed community groups complained that the Oaxacan family clustered overcrowded apartments, etc. It said members of your group and its offset saved Greenfield and quickly pushed into city politics. All I want to ask Ms. Councilmember Ortiz, what is your thoughts on the Oaxaca now? Because you're supposed to be there transparent. And if you and I can remember that at one time you said that you had voted and we were going against that, and you said I lived there and you were not living there. So I hope that you're transparent and you're honest with everything that you do in council. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening, council members. First of all, I'd like to apologize because I know that, again, this is not the place, but because I have nowhere else to advocate for my mother, I come here every time and I'll continue to advocate for my mother, especially when, this city council member Martinez has yet to pay the $10,000 that she owed, even though she had promised $50 payment. And yet it talks about her ethics and her transparency. I am tired. I am mentally and physically tired, but I will not sit here and allow her to continue to, again, not even apologize. Last week, somebody said about being, forgiveness. Forgiveness comes when somebody acknowledges that they had caused hurt to two different, to a family, to two different families, my mother and myself, because I've taken so much time away from my own family to come here, and I'll continue to come here until there's justice. And I apologize that I'm wasting, some valuable time, but this is the only platform that, I'm able to talk to her. She has my number, she has my email, and, I welcome her to reach out, and start that payment process, because of this council member position, she's able to get away with this. And again, hold herself accountable as a leader that she likes to see herself. I'm holding up a mirror and letting you know, Councilwoman Martinez, I have yet to hear you speak on what you've done. I have yet to hear you say sorry for the false narratives that you have continued to spread, even after finding guilty by all your council members and the courts. So thank you very much. And again, I sincerely apologize, but I will not rest until apologies and actions. So thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments, please?
First and foremost, good afternoon, council. Good afternoon, everybody in the audience. My name is Victor Torres. I am a basically lifetime resident of the city of Greenfield, and I'm here after listening to that. I think this is not the place to bring your own personal dramas to. It's honestly, we're here to move the city forward, and no matter how many times you say you're sorry, you're not supposed to be bringing what is really unethical to be blasting someone's personal matters or your own struggles with that person. Keep it private. Let's keep it professional here. And I don't think this is a space that everyone here should be allowing people to come on here and bring their petty grievances. I don't think this is the spot or time for that. There's much more pressing matters that I feel should be addressed in the city of Greenfield. For example, well, first and foremost, I have to go to my job in a while, but first I wanted to address the soccer fields and their poor condition. I haven't been there in a while, but last time I passed there, which was a few days ago, the goals are, it's still in horrible condition. I still see many holes. There's nothing, little to nothing done about the goalposts and their poor condition. Not to mention that I've seen some people have gotten hurt over the fact that these goalposts are in such poor condition in the city, or not the city, but the recreational department refuses to fund or find any other ways to bring that. I also I also have a really still big issue with what's the word for honestly I can't even think right now. Just hearing that's not, again, this is not the place to be bringing those personal matters. It shouldn't be addressed. This is city business first and foremost. But again, to what I was with, I wanted to just express my displeasure with the current just with the current state of the police department at the moment, and seeing some officers having acted pretty much unethically and without morals, in my opinion, against some civilians that I've seen. And I don't have the stuff I've seen, or I didn't take any of this at the time, but I've seen some officers who have acted in ways they shouldn't have, and in particular against people from our indigenous community and youth that I've seen pressed to the ground in front of the library, in front of other children. And I've seen some officers pretty much follow around some kids. And I wanted just to bring that to your attention. I want that to be addressed with the police department. I feel that's not something I should be happy to witness, and let alone little kids, especially at the library or parks. Even at my school, I've seen it happen. So I feel that should be addressed. And if there's any communication that could be done between me or any of my peers and the police department, I'd be more than glad and open to it. And again, please help keep this professional. There's no need to let people voice on petty grievances or other things here. We should get back to focusing on what really matters. And thank you to those who stay professional and don't focus on petty grievances. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comment, either online or here?
Yeah, well, my only comment is, you guys got a marijuana place growing at 689 El Camino that it took them 7 months to quiet down, and now they're starting again to get loud because they just got the new thing. But I mean, they stay loud from the night to the morning. I mean, if they work between 7 and 7, like everybody else at work does, that'd be acceptable. I only hear out of my right ear, and I got to lay with that on my down. My son is always working. He's always trying to stand up because the noise is pretty loud over here. It doesn't affect a lot of people. I know the Memorial Hall had a quote that wouldn't affect me as much. Jet Trucking had a quote that they would stay up, and I would call in and they got fixed. J. Lord Vineyard had a problem where their gun was going on all the time, and I called them and eventually got it fixed too. Now these guys are just doing it every day. And I mean, if they work between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., I wouldn't say nothing. Then or till 10 o'clock, I wouldn't care. But 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, kind of like you guys don't like the semis working out when their freezers are working all day and the night. The city can't have that. I'm in the city, 711 El Camino, and I'm hearing that every day, every night. So I'm just saying, how many times did I call the cops? Like 6, 7 times. You guys don't want to. They don't want to do nothing about it. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to pick up nothing done. I just want to make it fair for everybody. I want to be treated like I was in the city, like everybody else. That's all I need.
Thank you for your comment.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I just wanted to remind you that this Saturday, the fire department is having an open house from 10 to 4. Check our Facebook pages and page, and you'll see a schedule of events. So we're going to be doing, quite a few different types of demonstrations that'll be fun, or you might have an interest in. For instance, they're going to be cutting apart a car, as well as doing some live fire demonstrations and I think some emergency medical demonstrations. It's a great opportunity to come down, bring the kids, give you a chance to walk through our fire station, see our fire equipment, interact with our firefighters, and there'll be free food too. So hope to see you there this Saturday, 10 to 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Any other comments? Seeing none, I will move on to Comments from city council.
I'm gonna make up for not having any last time. So this will take a while. For starters, I've had a couple of comments about the construction that's going on currently on Walnut, for the EH housing. People are wondering how long the street is going to be partially blocked off. And there's also been a couple of complaints about smells coming from that construction, almost like they hit a sewer line or something like that. So if we could get that looked at, that would be appreciated. I've had a couple of people ask me about getting a new lane on northbound 101 between Oak and Walnut, much like we have on the southbound side between Oak and Walnut, because apparently there's a significant number of people that are using 101 to go between the north and south sides of the city. They're merging onto the freeway, and since they're planning on getting off, they're merging onto the freeway at 20 or 30 miles an hour just to take the next exit. And that's really disrupting the flow of traffic. So if we could, and it's also very dangerous, especially if traffic's doing 65 or 75 miles an hour down through there, and all of a sudden you've got a 20-mile-an-hour block in it. That could be a concern. I've had questions about street lighting on Walnut, particularly there near the AM/PM and Carl's Jr., putting some street lighting up, especially since there are a significant number of people now that are trying to cross the street there. And actually, I'm going to make a public service announcement here. If you're going to cross that street in the middle of the night, don't be wearing dark clothing. We need to be able to see you.
Right.
I've personally seen it a couple of times, and I've had a couple of people complain about it, that all of a sudden they'll be driving down through there, and all of a sudden somebody will dart across the street in front of them dressed all in black, which is incredibly dangerous. So please, please, please don't do that. Next thing on my list was the fire department open house. So thank you for bringing that up, Jim. Parking. I know at one point we had a parking ordinance in mind, particularly around no parking during street sweeping. I'd like to see that come back. But I'm also hearing lots of complaints about parking across sidewalks and crosswalks, especially in the residential areas. People are pulling up to their driveways. They're having 2 cars on the driveway, then they're pulling additional 2 cars in the driveway and parking across the sidewalks. Or they're parking in the corners across the crosswalks. So I really think we need to start addressing that as well. Again, lots of complaints about stop signs and right turns on red without stopping, and generally with the stop signs not stopping in general. I've mentioned this in the past. I really think it's time to do this. I think we really need to do a maximum enforcement couple of days on the PD. Even if you don't give a lot of tickets, just the awareness and pull people over for doing those rolling stops, those California stops. Just get it in mind that, hey, by the way, this is not a valid way to do things. Had a lot of complaints about animal control issues here lately, especially around cats and kittens. Basically, people being told that the PD won't do anything with a cat or a kitten. So we need to see about addressing that. And I was wondering, is there any way we could get a dedicated page on our website dealing with animal control? Talking about what we do and don't do, the hours, way to contact, things like that. I think that would go a long way to communicating out and trying to let people know exactly what we can and can't do around animal control. Which actually brings me to the next thing. We got an email from the Neighborhood Pet Project. For those of you that don't know, the Neighborhood Pet Project is kind of a follow-on agency to SCAR. Ms. Villa Gomez from SCAR has actually separated from SCAR and has formed our Neighborhood Pet Project. She's actually looking to seek funding from the council. I think that would be an excellent opportunity for us to put some money in. She's already talking about, in the letter she sent out to the council, she's already talking about how many animals she's been able to divert from going to the shelters, which would cost the city money if they've gone to the shelters. So I think that's definitely something we can get behind. And also increasing the SNP bus funding again. I know you mentioned before trying to find an alternative to SNP bus. I've been looking, there's only a couple of alternatives that actually come out to you and do that. And they're much more expensive than SNP. So I think finding a way to continue the funding for SNP bus and continuing the funding for these programs would be a big help. And it would also, as I just mentioned, take some of the load, especially for the cats and kittens, off of animal control. And if we could do some sort of coordination there, I think that would be a great opportunity. I'm hearing lots of good news about the increased visibility of the PD, especially in the evenings. They're really appreciative of it, but they want to see more. I've had a couple of people ask me if we could keep City Hall open late, maybe one day a week or one day every 2 weeks, to allow people to come in and do stuff when they work all day, be able to come in and pay utility bills or do meeting planning and things like that. maybe stay up until 6 or 7 one night every week or every 2 weeks to allow that to happen. In light of the fact that there have been a lot of complaints, particularly from the Bay Area, about Zoom bombing, and we do have a lot of updates to the Brown Act and the way we can do public meetings, I think it may be time to revise our policy on Zoom meetings and Zoom comments. And I'd like to see something around that. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but I definitely think we do need to address that in light of everything that's going on. I'd like to see an update on the city cameras that we have out there. I haven't seen anything about them in a while. Granted, I wasn't on council for 9 months, but I'd definitely like to see an update as to what's going on with those. The Harvest Festival is this Saturday. Definitely come out, see that. There's also the Witch Ride next weekend as well. So make sure to take part in that if you want to. Recently, the Digital Equity Bill was passed, which I think will be a huge boost to the South Salinas Valley Broadband Authority. And I look forward to seeing what we can do to bring enhanced low-cost broadband to our community. I'd also like to appreciate Senator Caballero for bringing the funding for the new comms tower. I know communications with the Next Gen has been problematic in South County for quite some time. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity to help fix those problems. Next thing is water rates. I've heard a lot of concern over the new water rates. Have we identified resources that people can go to other than 211 in the United Way if they're having problems paying their bill? If there are some additional resources, we definitely need to get those out to the community. I've been getting lots of questions about new development timeframes, particularly the Marriott Hotel that's still supposed to be coming, and that northwest corner of 3rd and Walnut. I've been hearing some rumors about what's going on there. That would be in front of the farm worker housing. I've been hearing some rumors. People are saying that they're hearing stuff's coming in, and I haven't heard anything. And after speaking with Mr. Buchan, there's nothing coming in there. So I think we need to at least put out an update saying, hey, by the way, this is the development we're seeing, and maybe do an update on all the development that's coming into the city. The house decorating contest is going on. We are having another Halloween house decorating contest. Another question I've been getting asked is, other cities apparently do a quarterly or a semi-annual citywide yard sale day. I'd like to see the possibility of doing that here, maybe with a reduced fee for that, or no permit required for that day. So maybe that's something we could bring up. 2 more, I'm almost done. Parking on ECR at the Greenfield Commons area, like in front of Subway and all of that. People are concerned that the markings are gone. They asked me if that's a city thing or if that's something that they need to do, but we need to get the markings redone in the parking there. They're mostly gone. Last thing is pedestrian crossing at Maritapa across Walnut. We all know that they're not supposed to cross except at the intersections. People do it anyway. They do it all the time, and they're doing it with their kids. I actually had somebody tell me the other day they were driving down through there doing 25, 30 miles an hour, and a lady pushed her stroller right off the curb in front of them. They almost hit her. So because they aren't paying attention, or they just want to cross there, I don't know what the problem is, but I think that's something we really need to address. And that's all. Well, it was going to make up for last week.
Made up for one day. All right. Councilwoman Martinez.
Yes, so antes que nada quería recordarle a la audiencia que sí tenemos traducción. Acá están los aparatos si es que lo necesitan para que escuchen. Lamentablemente no se dio el aviso al comienzo de la reunión, pero ahorita están aquí el equipo y tenemos la traductora atrás para que también tengan la oportunidad de ustedes de interactuar si es que desean. Nuevamente los aparatos están acá enfrente y bienvenidos. So basically, I want to start off with the World Mental Health Day, which is today, right? So if you know, if you have a mental health emergency, you know that you could call 9888 or visit the nearest emergency location, department. But there is help, and it is okay to ask for help. So I think that's the biggest thing to remind our folks, especially a lot of our youth have been struggling lately, even ourselves coming from a pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, we're struggling with mental health. And that's a lot of the conversation that we heard in our past conference that we attended with the League of Cities. So again, it's okay to ask for help and the resources are there. And let's celebrate World Mental Health Day by letting others know, share it on your social media platforms, talk to one another, but it's okay to ask for help. We need to break those barriers. So estamos celebrando el Día de la Salud Mental Mundial y que es necesario romper todas las los ciclos, los tabús que nos han dicho de que no es bueno, que es malo. No, tenemos que decir que hay ayuda y podemos preguntar por esa ayuda. So just throwing it out there to our community, it's okay to ask for help. And I also wanted to bring to the attention of the council, I don't know if many of you are planning on participating on the Lead Me Home Summit that's going to be happening in Salinas. I know Mayor Wood and myself participated, I believe it was last year via Zoom. Remember, Paul, with the supervisors and County of San Benito, which wasn't really successful because I think that we still argue the data that they had on the city of Greenfield was not correct in any way, shape, or form. So hopefully it's going to be in person this time at the Salinas City Center. So if any mayor, city manager, even our chief mixer, if he could be there, I think it's great. The conversation is still continuing. There's a lot of things to do for our unhoused folks. And we've been having a lot of issues here in the city of Greenfield. So let's make sure that we get our hands on those resources, not just from county, but state, and work together on this whole project that is amazing. It just needs to have some tweaks here and there and actually have real data to back it up that these are actually the numbers in our community. So just bringing it to your attention, Mr. Wood. And also, I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to some of our amazing youth that we have with us today. And if I call your name, please stand up because you guys are key in making this happen. So Mr. Victor, please stand up. Mr. Miguel, please stand up. Mr. Abel, please stand up. Miss Alexia, please stand up. Miss Itlali, please stand up. Who else am I missing? Mr. Santiago, please stand up. And I believe we have an amazing mom back there too, Noemi, but these youth have been working with us, meeting with us for quite some time. They're working on climate change issues in the city of Greenfield. And this is the Youth SAS group. They actually were able to make legislation happen. So we're excited because today, today, Governor Newsom signed our bill, AB 652, which started here in the city of Greenfield in the Monterey County with folks from Salinas, from Watsonville. He signed into law AB 652. So we're hoping that the ceremonial signing happens sometime in the next couple of months in the Salinas Valley, hopefully Greenfield, we're pushing on it. But this bill is going to create, because it happened, an Environmental Justice Advisory Committee for the whole state of California. So let's give these youth a big round of applause and thank you for being here. And so with that, I will end my comment, but I just want to know that good things are happening in the city of Greenfield. We have amazing youth. Once we provide that opportunity for them to come to the table, to bring this discussion forward, look at the amazing things that they could do, bring a piece of legislation. And everybody knows how hard it is, how many bills have died or have been vetoed, but Governor Newsom signed this legislation. So we're just excited because it's happening right here in the heart of the valley. And so thank you, youth. You could take a seat now. And then for the comments that were said here in person, thank you for taking your time and showing up. And then hopefully both of the comments that were given, please connect to our police chief mixer. I know he has an open door policy to both of you. But please, before the meeting is over, before you step out, make sure that you go and give him your contact information and have a meeting with him. But these issues are real and they're important. And thank you for bringing them forward. And that is it, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you. Councilman?
Good evening. First, there's a lot. They're going to turn the power off over on the 14th at the Magnolia. We've had a lot of people commenting, they thinking that it's going to be a lot more sections that are not going to have electricity, but it's actually only the Magnolia apartments. I was hoping that maybe chief or somebody from the fire department, either chief maybe can check in on the residents. I know that some of them, you know, they have maybe machines or something, breathing machines, things like that, that they may need some help with. I don't know if they have other alternatives in their home or there's setup for that, but it's supposed to be out pretty much all day long. And so I'm hoping that somebody can get out there and check on them and see if anybody needs anything. We did see the work that they're doing on the parks, and I'm so happy. The truck came up and it started blowing that stuff out, and all the neighbors came out because we didn't know what the heck was going on. And so it was like, not garbage day, what's going on? But it was them blowing out the bark, the filler into there. No sooner have they finished, they weren't even done yet. And they drove off to go get more. And there was 3 families out there already, you know, and they were just saying how happy they were that it was filled up now. And of course, asking what else we were going to do. So that was nice. I also went over to the park on Maple and 5th Street. And it looks really good compared to the way it did. I'm happy that that chain link fence is going to come down. It's not there, but it will come down. But it looks really good. And so do the other parks that you've worked on. I think I'll touch on this at the end of the meeting, but I did meet with Mr. Muck from the CAMSI. And I did let him know that we have a really big problem with our overpasses, especially with housing that's going to come in there. And he did let me know that in April, we'll have another round of grants coming for the safe routes. And so he'll be contacting our city within the next couple of months to start working with the city on a grant to get some more money. I did let him know that it was really important that we get something going here. I talked to Paul. Paul said, you know, they're working on something also, you know, but I'm hoping that, you know, combining these 2 efforts will make it safer for the residents that need to be crossing over. We've got a lot of gentlemen that are working out there, that live out there in the housing, and it worries me when I see them crossing over the freeway with their bags and cars aren't stopping. And I know that we've had a lot of problems with pedestrians getting hit. And so I kind of like maybe if Chief Mixer, you could maybe at the next meeting talk about that a little bit, what we can do, maybe what you're seeing, why is this happening so much? And, you know, do we need better lighting, more stop sign? I don't know, but, you know, one person is enough, but I think we've had multiple already, and I think it's becoming a really serious problem. Also, I'd like to say something about Ana Caballero coming, Senator Ana Caballero, and actually there was $1 million that she gave, not 2 million, but nevertheless, it's still good money. But I think a lot of people are being misinformed about what the money's for. So I'm hoping that the city can put out a statement saying exactly what it is. There were some comments, people asking, oh, we need more parks or we need this, but it's not for that. So I think it's really important that we let the community know what exactly it's for. Let's see. I did want to touch on what Council Member Tipton said about the citywide yard sale. I think that's a really good idea, especially for people to kind of move some of their stuff out. Trying to be nice here, you know, alleviate the cost from some of their the items that they have in storage. So I think that would be really great. I noticed that a lot of other cities are doing that, and I think that's really a great idea. Council Member Martinez, she touched on mental health. And so I did put someone in touch with Fabiola, and I know that Fabiola's been really busy, and I know that the gal is really wanting to come out here. So I hope that you guys can connect. And actually, she has her own mental health company. I would say business. It's up in the Bay Area, but she's a woman that grew up here in town. She wants to come back to Greenville and pay it forward. And we talked on social media, and I put her in touch with Fabiola. So I'm hoping that something can come of that. I asked her maybe it would be a really good idea if she would come to the Harvest Festival and have a booth, but not sure if that's going to happen. But just so you know that we are trying to move forward and getting something like that done here. And I think that's it.
All right. Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. This weekend, I participated in the Arts Habitat 2023 Art Studio Tour. I wanted to share about this, even though it already happened, just because we didn't get as many attendees as we would have liked. And I think it is really hard to have events that focus just on the arts and to get the big crowds to come out. But it was an amazing opportunity. Nonetheless, we did have members of the public come out, but also for the organizers, for the artists that were taking part in it, they were able to build a sense of community with each other, make some great connections. And also when we had downtime, we sat there kind of brainstorming a bunch of ideas about how we could have more targeted strategic outreach to the community, to the schools, to advertise those sorts of things. So what the Art Studio Tour is, it's an annual thing, so it'll happen again next year. Arts Habitat is a nonprofit organization that sets up this studio tour once a year. And this time they included South County. So we were in King City, the King City Education Center hosted these two artists to have an exhibit there. In King City, Soul Treasures, I believe, was also a stop. But there were stops all over Monterey County. It went all the way up to like Marina, Pacific Grove. There was exhibits everywhere. So the goal is to get people out and to just kind of studio hop and check out some local talent. So next year I'll be announcing that a lot more heavily so that we can get more people to come out. But one of the things that an artist did there that I wanted to share was she created what is sort of like a paint by the numbers style painting. For those of you that might not know what that is, it was kind of blocking off a picture where she drew all the lines in. And then as people came in, she offered them the opportunity to be part of painting it. And it was this huge, I don't even know how big it was. They're probably similar to the size of the canvases we have back there, of a aerial shot of the valley. And it's going to be beautiful when it's done, but we didn't finish it yet. We took everybody's names who took part in it. And we told them once it's complete, because we want the community to continue helping us paint that, then we're going to tag everybody in a post and, they can see that they were part of doing that. But, when I went through the interview process here in Chambers to get appointed up here, I talked about how the arts are something that I'm very passionate about. I really care about increasing programming here for the arts. And I'm doing some of that stuff privately to try to make some things happen here. But what I want to do is also just make an open call for assistance to the community. If you all know of whether it's businesses, organizations, private citizens that would be interested in either donating a wall for a mural project or sponsoring an artist to provide murals in Greenfield, we're building, this collaborative of artists here that we can tap into for that, of local talent. So please contact me if you know of anybody who either wants to take part in it or would be happy to sponsor some of it, because it's my goal that we start doing stuff to beautify the city, and public murals are a great way to do that. Next thing, everybody's kind of mentioned parks. I think everyone mentioned parks, and I just wanted to thank Public Works for that, because I did see the chips go out, and then kids, like Councilmember Ortiz said, there were families there immediately. So thank you for that. I want to encourage the community to come out to the open house for the fire department that was mentioned. My family loved visiting. All the children in our family loved it. Seeing the trucks and even just the gear. They get a kick out of just seeing the gear that the firemen wear, because, to a lot of them, these are like real life heroes. And getting to use the fire hoses, all of that. It was a lot of fun. So I really encourage you to get out there and get to know your first responders. There's been a lot of police incident, or not a lot. There's been some police incidents lately involving, potential mental health or emotional health crisis going on with families and individuals. And so I just wanted to acknowledge the work that the PD is doing to keep our community safe and, de-escalate those situations without any kind of tragedies happen. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, thank you to Senator Caballero. I won't repeat what everybody has said, but I appreciate her keeping our city in mind. And yesterday, Supervisor Lopez and his staff, his amazing staff, they held an community listening session at the Greenfield Library. And I and Mayor White were able to attend. And I just wanted to say thank you to him and his staff for putting that together. And the community members that did attend were able to share their thoughts and their suggestions on what is important to them in the city. And I would encourage everybody to come out for that when that's held in the future. It's a great opportunity. And then lastly, I also hope everyone comes out and enjoys the Harvest Festival. I know a lot of work has gone into planning that and making that happen. And that's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, the downside of going last. Let's see, Harvest Festival, City Halloween House Decorating Contest, Public Works and the wood chips are all on my list here, along with Senator Caballero. So a couple things that haven't been gone over tonight. I attended the League of Cities Conference September 20th, 21st, and 22nd in Sacramento. A few takeaways from the conference included the economic outlook session by presenters, which I'm not sure I totally agree with, but they said the overall economy is relatively strong and that they expect a modest increase in sales tax revenue. I think we still need to be real conservative on our projections and our spending. They were concerned about the faster than expected change to EV vehicles and the negative effect that's going to have on gas tax revenues. So that's something else that is going to have to be addressed at some point by the state. There was also a lot of discussion regarding the so-called Taxpayer Protection and Government Accountability Act, which will be on the November 24th ballot. If passed, it will force cuts to fire, police services, infrastructures, parks, libraries, affordable housing, services to support the unhoused, and much more. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about this initiative over the next year. This is on not this November's ballot, but next November's ballot. Finally, I wanted to mention we need a new system to deal with water leaks. What we are presently doing is not working. We have some major leaks like the two on Tyler that have been leaking for several months. We need to do a better job. We need to get some kind of a reporting system and get these major leaks addressed. So if we could look into getting some kind of a plan to address this, that would be great. So, all right. I think that's all I have. Thank you. Sure.
One thing I did forget was that to the public comment that was said earlier, I can be contacted here at the city, and you can use the city email address to contact me, Ms. Diaz. And yeah, I'd love to sit down and talk with you, and we can talk about whatever I said in 2011 and what's going on with me now. What are my thoughts now? So anytime you would like to speak, my schedule's pretty open. Contact the city or email me here, and we can set something up. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Let's move to consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one action of the city council unless a request for removal for discussion or explanation is received prior to the time council votes on the motion to adopt. I will open public comments regarding the consent calendar. Seeing none, I will move for, does anybody want to pull anything or need additional information? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to adopt.
Have a motion to adopt. I need a
Second.
Then moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Thank you very much. We'll move to I-1. Proclamation of the City Council, City of Greenfield proclaiming October 2023 as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. During National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, our neighbors honored the courage and strength of over 3.4 million Americans who are battling this terrible disease and remember loved ones whose lives have been affected by breast cancer. In memory of those we have lost, we pledge never to waver from our ongoing search for effective and innovative medical advancements to treat and prevent this disease. In the United States, more than 268,000 women and approximately 2,600 men are diagnosed with breast cancer annually. While deaths from breast cancer have declined over time, it remains the second most common form of cancer and the second leading cause of cancer death overall among American women, with a staggering 41,000 lives lost each year. For this reason, the City Council urges our fellow residents and Americans, especially those who have family history or may be at increased risk, to consult with their healthcare providers about the individual likelihood of developing breast cancer, early detection and regular screenings, mammograms, followed by timely treatment upon diagnosis, can significantly improve the patient's chance for survival. This month and throughout the year, the Greenfield City Council joined together in support of our fellow residents and Americans diagnosed with breast cancer, those who are in remission, and those who have lost loved ones to this disease. We also recommend that the skilled medical professionals and dedicated researchers provide quality treatment and care to women and men across our country. As one nation, we will continue to strive for a future in which every American may enjoy a long, healthy life free from the threat of cancer. Now, therefore, I, Robert White, Mayor of Greenfield, declare October 2023 as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Is there anyone for this one? Okay, thank you. We have several proclamations tonight. I-2, a proclamation of the City Council, City of Greenfield proclaiming Children's Environmental Health Day on October 12th, 2023. Whereas the aim of Children's Environmental Health Day is to raise awareness about the importance of clean air and water, safe food and consumer products, healthy environments, and stable climates to children's health and development. And whereas CEH Day was created by the Children's Environmental Health Network and celebrated for the first time on October 13th, 2016. And whereas CEH Day is observed on the second Thursday in October as a means to celebrate progress of the children's environmental health movement and create a strong network of child health advocates. And whereas CEH Day is a national effort supported by individuals, nonprofit organizations, and government agencies. And whereas CEH Day encourages individuals and organizations to raise awareness and understanding of children's environmental health issues, seek improvement, protection for all children, and to perform acts of sustainability and environmental health wellness. And whereas together we can safeguard the health, safety, and well-being of our most precious resource, children. Therefore, I, Robert White, Mayor of the City of Greenfield, do hereby proclaim Thursday, October 12th, 2023 as Children's Environmental Health Day. Do you have anyone to accept this one?
Yeah. The youth says you guys are, that's your recognition, one of the two. So if you guys want to come up and receive the proclamation from the mayor.
All right. I-3, a proclamation, City Council, City of Greenfield proclaiming October as in Children's Environmental Health Month. Whereas our children are California's future and especially vulnerable to environmental health issues because they are physiologically very different from adults and are in a dynamic state of growth. From birth through young adulthood, children experience rapid physiological growth and their systems absorb more toxins in proportion to their body weight than do adult systems. Children also have higher metabolic rates than do adults, and relative to body size, children eat and drink more food and liquid than their full-grown counterparts. Children also have unique behavior and activity patterns. They live and play much closer to the ground than do adults and are therefore exposed differently to toxins. And whereas all children are affected by environmental hazards because of different kinds of pollution can be found throughout our state, contaminants and transported through many media, including air, water, soil, and food, are absorbed by children, and when they breathe, drink, eat, touch the contaminated media, children's exposure to these toxins can harm their health. And whereas many pesticides used in California are associated with major childhood health conditions, some pesticides are known neurotoxins and have been linked to higher rates of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and autism spectrum disorder in children. In addition, studies have demonstrated strong associations between pesticides and asthma diagnosis for children under 5 years of age. Many pesticides also contain endocrine disrupting chemicals and PFAS, which mimic hormones and impact brain development. And whereas it is established fact that children from low-income communities and communities of color are at disproportionate risk for exposure to environmental hazards, and the Office of Environmental Hazard Assessment with the California Environmental Protection Agency reports that Latino, Black, immigrant, and children of color in California are more likely to reside in areas where disproportionately high exposure to environmental contaminants. And whereas the aim of Children's Environmental Health Month is to raise awareness about the importance of ensuring clean air and water, safe food and consumer products, and healthy environments during a child's development and beyond. And whereas Children's Environmental Health Day was created by the Children's Environmental Health Network and celebrated nationally since October 13th, 2016. And whereas Children Environmental Health Month encourages individuals, organizations to raise awareness and understanding of children's environmental health issues, seek improved health policies and protections for children, and perform acts of sustainability or environmental health wellness. And whereas together we can safeguard the health, safety, and well-being of our children are our most precious resource. Now, therefore, I, Robert White, Mayor of the City of Greenfield, do hereby proclaim October 2023 as a Children's Environmental Health Month.
And again, the Safe Act Safe Schools youth. And also we have Líderes Campesinas members and then another parent that's a member of Safe Act Safe Schools. If you guys want to come forward and receive the proclamation from the mayor.
Right. I-4, proclamation of City Council, City of Greenfield, declaring October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas domestic violence is a serious crime that affects people of all races, ages, genders, and income levels. And whereas domestic violence is widespread and affects over 4 million people each year. And whereas 1 in 3 people have witnessed an incident of domestic violence. And whereas children that grow up in violent homes are believed to be abused and neglected at a higher rate than the national average. And whereas domestic violence costs the nation billions of dollars annually in medical expenses. police and court costs, shelters, foster care, sick leave, absenteeism, and non-productivity. And whereas only a coordinated community effort will put a stop to this heinous crime. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an excellent opportunity for residents to learn more about preventing domestic violence and to show support for the numerous organizations and individuals who provide critical advocacy services and assistance to victims. Now, therefore, the City Council, City of Greenfield, does hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urges our residents to work together to eliminate domestic violence from our community.
And the mayor has the proclamation for, I know that it was not in the language and I spoke to the mayor earlier, but we do have a local group that has been active throughout the whole year and specifically during the month of domestic violence awareness. And that's our own local Líderes Campesinas. So we want to give them a big round of applause. We want to have them take a picture and receive this proclamation from the mayor. And then I don't know, Mayor, if you want to acknowledge that they have their artwork in display.
I was going to say there's artwork in the back that they put out on display. So everybody should take a look at that.
Buenas tardes, estimados miembros del concilio y miembros de la comunidad. Líderes campesinas, este es el mes de concientización de violencia doméstica, ¿verdad? Tenemos 17 comités a nivel estado y este mes lo dedicamos a hacer conciencia de todo lo que es la violencia doméstica. Aparte de que tenemos varios temas para tratar con toda la comunidad. Somos una organización de puras mujeres. Aquí en Greenfield tenemos un comité de 42 miembros activas. En total somos casi 60, pero más activas somos como 43, ¿verdad? Y más básicamente trabajamos en lo que dice nuestra misión de líderes. La misión de Líderes Campesinas es fortalecer el liderazgo de nosotras, las campesinas, para ser el puente que logre los cambios políticos y sociales que aseguren nuestros derechos humanos. Y cuando hacemos esto de este mes, inclusive tenemos aquí al jefe de policía que nos ha acompañado en algunos eventos de este mes, ¿verdad? Hacemos una vigilia, damos conciencia de todo lo que puede pasar cuando a veces nos quedamos calladas y no hablamos. Entonces, les queremos agradecer infinitamente. Gracias, Yaneli, gracias a todos y a toda la comunidad el apoyo que nos ha dado. Muchísimas gracias. Con permiso.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Sure.
Translate gesture. Okay, so from what I got. So they represent the Líderes Campesinas. There's 17 committees statewide, and here in the city of Greenfield, they have 42 active members. In reality, they have about 60, but active members are about 62. And part of their mission is to increase awareness of violence at home and for them to be leadership among the farm workers that are women and understand that they can be that bridge of communications between them and the community and the different leaderships to find the solution and resolve that problem. They also wanted to thank the entire community for the support and that sometimes they do have some meetings where they receive and provide guidance to the other women in how to fight violence at home.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll move to item I-5, the 2023 Harvest Festival. Update there.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. There won't be a slideshow, but we have some information here that I'd like to hand out, if that's okay, to each of you. Can I hand it to you guys?
Yes. Give it to Ann, I think.
Oh, to Ann. You can give it. Thank you. So that program, we just need to have some minor edits, but we'll have a QR code and we'll also have it available for the community to know what's going on at the Harvest Festival. So I'd like to introduce you to part of the team that has been working on the Harvest Festival planning, Victor Garcia and Angela, Community Engagement Assistant, and Jose Chavez can be here. He just started about 2 weeks ago, and he has been very busy organizing our volunteers for the Harvest Festival. So we're very excited. It is this Sunday. We're currently organizing a walking procession along with the Monterey County Invaders softball team. They're making a lot of phone calls for us to try to have a opening procession, just like last year. So that's an exciting update for that. Again, it'll be from 11 to 6 p.m. And as you guys have probably seen all over Facebook, there's going to be a lot of bands there, a lot of solo artists, there's going to be Lucha Libre. So I will pass it on over to Victor, and we'll be open to any questions. He has more logistical information, but let us know if you do have any other questions that me or Angela can help with.
Hey, good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you for inviting me to be part of this great festival. I've known about the festival for a long time, but I never attended once. And believe it or not, the way I end up working with the team, Fabiola's team, is I own a company that caters to community festivals, small or big. And it turned out that I came seeking for a place to host a community festival. And I look at King City, Gonzales, Soledad, and I stop in Greenfield and to look at Patriot Park and possibilities. And I ran into someone saying, you might be interested in helping us out with the festival. So it is how it started. Me coming, I wanted to host a festival here or bring more festivals into this area because you have this Patriot Park, which is pretty big and very nice. So that's how I end up working here, and I am enjoying every minute of it. And I would like to answer any questions you guys have. It's around the corner, and we've been working with preparing the festival for about only 2 months, and we got everything ready to go. So if you guys have any concerns, any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them.
Questions from council? My question was, I see that you have several sponsors on the bottom. I think that's different than what we've done in the past. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Those are considered 95% is media sponsors that come along with what I do. Every event that I have, they want to be involved in my events. Univision, Radio Láser, all media outlets. Is like I think I'm one of the luckiest persons that all of them can get along together when I'm having something, and you won't see those together in any other promotions. They're all individual.
Okay. And this year, is it expanded from what it has been in the past? I know before we've gone from Oak Avenue to Apple.
Yeah, now it expanded to Walnut Avenue.
So we're going to all go all the way to Walnut.
Yes. So we're going to have a stage on Walnut, which is called the Walnut stage. The other side will be Oak stage. And then we're going to have a cultural stage on Apple and the Lucha Libre wrestling activities exhibition right next to, close by Apple. And we also have kids activities like jumping houses, arts and crafts activities, at no cost for the children. And I have a bungee jumping activity for adults and a area with water balls that you get into the plastic ball and then you start working your way into the water, something like that. So that's going to be for adults only, So it's going to be pretty fun. And plus we'll have a lot of, I've been telling everyone, I talk a lot with Paul and I tell him this morning that it's like having 3 festivals in one. So we have broken down into A, B, and C, because that's how big we are, and everywhere you go, you're going to find something happening for all ages, for everyone. Music has been also, I think, a big improvement as well for this year. There's always room for improvement, but I think the music part, it has a lot to do. The goal, well, at least the goal that I have, and I know that everyone shares that goal here, is to let the community know about the festival and bring people from outside, not just the locals. And and I do have people coming from Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Jose, San Francisco, Santa Maria, and it's people that I ask, how do you find out about the festival? And I run into an ad on Facebook or something like that, or somebody told me about it. Plus all the people that are here, that are also being part of the festival. I have invited everyone. I have an open door policy as well. My phone number is public and they can call me any time of the day, any time of night. I don't mind. I answer all the phone calls. If I don't answer as soon as you call, I call you right away and I get you, I help you out. And if you have any questions about it, especially I noticed that past participants have been a little resistant to change, but I've been telling everyone, let's move on this time. And I explain how the city's like making things better so they can also have a better festival. And they understand it. Once they talk to me, open the communication line. I have people that started complaining about, hey, why is this guy coming over here doing this and that? Now they're helping with the festival, like volunteering. They're like part of the festival with me, with my crew, with my staff. Like hey, what time do I be there? 6 a.m. Okay, we're going to be there. People that were complaining at the beginning, now they're being part of it, But I understand everyone. I listen to all the concerns, but mostly, like I said, 3-piece festival, 11 to 6, lots of music, lots of family activities, and lots of volunteers, which is very, very nice to have. A lot of places struggle with volunteers. And I think Jose, right? He's in charge of the volunteers. He's the new person in Fabiola's team, and he's doing a great job. I also like to acknowledge these 2 young ladies that, they told me when I came in, we don't know anything about this. And I think they're lying to me because they, they do so well that, that I'm, oh my God, I hope you still need me next year, So that's how it is. And if you guys have any concerns, any questions, please ask me. I have no problem answering anything.
Sure. More questions?
At the last meeting, there was a concern about the price of the booths,
Mhm.
vendors. How many vendors do you actually have, food and people selling?
Total count today was 125. 125. Yes. And they're still calling. As I'm sitting here, I'm getting phone calls.
And they're paying the $600, whatever.
No, I'm not charging anybody that amount. Only a couple probably. Yeah. And one, he forced me to charge him because I told him, have no more room for you. I have multiple vendors. It's okay, I'll pay. All right, that's what you want to do. We can try it out. So I don't say I didn't give you an opportunity because he's a local vendor. And on prices, I can explain you something. So basically a festival this size, and I call it a prime festival, like the Strawberry Festival, which I run, the El Grito in Salinas, I ran it. Salinas El Grito, a commercial 10 by 10, $800.
Yeah.
Okay. Here I put it at 275. When people saw those prices, they started, some called me, the ones that really called me.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, all of them are participating. Everybody that called me, we negotiated. And my first question is, how much did you pay last year?
Yeah.
Commercial, they say, well, I paid 150. So if I do the same, will you be happy with that? Oh, of course. Okay, let's go ahead and do the same. Food vendors, they give me up and down prices. Some said 100.
Yeah.
I think that the ones that are really honest, well, I paid 350 each 10 by 10 last year. So, you know, I say, well, if we can do the same, I mean, you're fine with that? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. But I do advise them that we're just doing this one for this year because we understand the changes and we don't want them to take it too hard. So, they, you know, if they give me an opportunity to talk to them, they agree and they stay, they pay, they're happy, you know.
Well, that's a lot. 125, you said, vendors?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot. And I think that's really great that you're working with them this first year on the amount they're paying because I know firsthand, like Monterey, Salinas, Tattoo Festival, Beer Festival, they all charge $800, $900 for a booth.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you
glad that
know
you
about
worked
that.
with them.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you worked with them. Like I said, this time, you know, next year.
Yeah. You know, also, honestly, since I do so many festivals through the year, a lot of these vendors that are here local, they also have attended those events. And so they're familiar, but you know, like I said, we understand the change is different, but I'm willing to work with anyone. I mean, you know, it's
Well, I think the
no
fact
problem.
that you have 125 vendors says a lot about you because a lot of events don't get but a handful of vendors. So having 100 and something, that says a lot about you and the kind of organization that you have. So any events that you put on. So I wish you guys lots of luck. It's going to be fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions from council?
My question is, do you have a comprehensive list that you can share with us of the vendors and what each vendor ended up paying to participate?
Yes, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, and by the way, I submit the list as well to the health department because they are gonna have the list of vendors, and then also we're gonna pay the city the business license fee of the vendors that don't have one. So that's also something that you're gonna get a list of everything and how much they're paying. Yeah, but like I said, it goes up and down. You know, the most a commercial vendor is like 250. Today I went to collect on a local here. I expected like a conversation about the price, and he had a check ready for 275. He didn't even say it. He just, here's the check. I want to be here. Thank you.
Great. I think I had asked, but it might be sort of a request of city staff actually about the comparison of just the fees when we first talked about that to other festivals in our area, in our county.
Yeah, I think,
you know, an actual report though of that.
Okay, yeah, we can.
Yeah,
we
even
can-
like not necessarily a presentation, but if we could just have that information.
Sure.
Can I say something? Let's keep in mind that a festival this big, that's how it's rated. It's not the same as going to a farmer's market or a flea market. You know, a lot of people attend those and their mentality is that that's probably going to be the same price, but on the other side, they know it's not, but it's perfectly understandable. You know, if I was the vendor, I want to pay the least possible myself. You know, I will probably do the same thing they do, and I think it's fair. You just got to have communication, and you know, and they trust what we're doing, and they know about Greenfield, and they know they want to be here. So now we have we can get up 200 vendors if you want, but I stopped. I said no more. I don't want to overcrowded, you know. So, but I really want to thank all those people that are trusted the festival. It's not just vendors; it's their families. A lot of families come with one vendor, nonprofit organizations, we're not charging a fee. It's 150, but we're waiving it for them. All of them have having a waive. And anybody else, they have a situation, we also can work with them, you know. It's about having them have something successful that day, and that they know that I established something that they know is about the city. It's not about me or my company, it's about Greenfield. So I gotta represent you highly, you know, the most that I can. And I consider myself, I live in Salinas, but I do a lot of community work in Greenfield as well, in South County. So it's not just coming to do the Greenfield Festival.
And thank you for that. Thank you for, having a human and reasonable approach to putting this on and getting this many vendors to participate, because it really does build a foundation for more each year. So
one of my goals, and I have spoke to the team, Fabiola, Angela, that we should work in a way that next year we can, if we have more time to work with the festival, we can probably achieve a goal to make money for the festival and put it back for the next one, you know. And there's something I do that I want to share if we can still work next year, so we can achieve those kind of things, you know.
Right.
I also had my question and my comment. First of all, thank you, Victor, for doing this. I love the work that you've done in Watsonville, and I've said it to you personally. One thing I was just going to ask, how was the open door policy? And I don't know if this question is more towards you, but to our city manager. But did we have like an open relationship with our First Night Monterey and the Monterey Arts Council, or they completely shut the door of like at least supporting in one way or another, at least being present? We didn't want to end terms, I guess, in that way. So did they just refuse to participate?
No, they didn't necessarily refuse to participate, but we did make it clear that we were moving in this direction. And this was mostly for the First Night Monterey Arts Council. I had no contact with, but I know that First Night Monterey also has events going on around Dia de los Muertos. So we still have open arms. Okay. And we want, services here, as we've always said.
Yeah, no, and that's great that you put that on the record, because I do really want the public to understand, because I know a lot of the conversations that have come forward is, why all of a sudden are we doing this transition? But at least people understand. And I hope that those folks that are here in public, or those that are watching us via social media, understand that the door is open, that, Victor and his team and the city did offer that opportunity to continue at least collaborating on one way or another. So hopefully in the future, they might decide to come back. But I do love the fact that it's going to be new. I love how you basically have that culture stage, El Escenario Cultural. I'm excited just to be able to see Los Diablos de Llano. I've heard nothing but great things about them. But one thing, I know it's a little bit changed up for us locals, and a lot of people are going to be like, well, what's going on? It's going to be bigger now, and we're going to have to walk longer. But I love the fact that you did keep the lucha libre where it was for many years. So at least that's a sense of like connection to our folks that, well, still the same, it's just getting bigger, more promotion, but there's still pieces that are still, remaining to us, the folks from the heart of the valley. So I love that you left that there. I don't know if it was the luchadores, because I know they love that spot. But yeah, more than anything, thank you. And it's good to have on record that those opportunities are still there for the public and for past agencies that we've worked with. And hopefully in the future, they decide to come back. I know that you do have also the Kids Zone with Hijos del Sol, which I'm excited because of Jose and his work. So yeah, thank you, Victor.
Yeah, thank you. I like building relationships and building bridges, so if I run into an issue, I like to invite that issue to be positive and be part of our team. And we have done so with a lot of things lately. I think Fabiola and Angela have seen some of that. And the door is open for all these organizations as well. I have a good relationship with everybody, no issues with no one. I can openly bring anybody into the festival with no fear that they're gonna take over my job. They can, feel confident on what I do. And we all respect each other. And anything that happens between us is, like city and I is between us is is outside from the community goal to, achieve things for like this festival,
Any other comments or questions? If not, thank you very much. We're looking forward to the festival. It should be a lot of fun.
See you guys on
Hopefully we
Saturday.
get a good turnout and some nice weather. It'd be great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to city council business. J1, adopt a resolution, city council, city of Greenfield approving a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $46,000 for the fire department for the fiscal year 2023-2024. Staff report, please.
Mayor, council, this is a request from the fire department in the amount of $46,000 to cover a couple of accounts that mistakenly got not budgeted for. So we apologize for that. There were some misunderstandings. In particular, what we're looking for is we're looking for $28,000 for community development services. And basically what that is fees that go towards a consultant who do our fire plans checks. And what you need to know about that is that for the most part, that's a cost neutral expense. So when new construction comes in and it requires certain reviews by a level of expertise that I don't have in terms of fire prevention, they are charged back that the developer or the person that's requesting the construction. So we requested $28,000. I think last year we spent like $27,500, and so that should keep us in line with what we're requesting. The other $18,000 is for building maintenance. There was some confusion in regards to which department would be budgeting for that. The bottom line is that it didn't get budgeted for, and so we need to make sure that we do have the ability to pay for repairs as we go along. I can tell you that this year so far we've already spent, I think, in the neighborhood of like over $3,000 in apparatus bay door repairs in terms of replacing motors and springs. So it is a funding that we do need. And I guess with that, I'll open it up to any questions or concerns that you might have.
Let me go ahead and open it up for public comments. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council. Questions from council?
The only question I have is $18,000 enough?
Well, we have other funds that we utilize, and I think Public Works has some funds available too. And if not, then we would come back for another supplemental appropriation, but we try and only ask for what we believe we're going to need.
Because I'm aware that we also have a project in place where we're going to try to do some major modifications to the building. That's what I was hoping.
Any other questions from council? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved. I need a second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. J2, a resolution, City Council, City of Greenfield rejecting all proposals received by the cities of Gonzales, Soledad, Greenfield, King City to select a qualified contractor to collect solid waste, recyclables, and organic waste within the boundaries of each city as a single franchise collection zone. Staff report, please.
Not sure who's doing the staff report. Is Mandy doing that, or am I doing that? Oh, Elliot?
I'm online, but Elia is there in person.
Thank you.
I think we're all fighting for the microphone here. Right. Well, good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Elia Zavala. As you know, Mandy Brooks is on virtually with us today. So before you is the recommendation from the South Valley City Managers on the RFP that was released on the Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority released on behalf of all the cities. The city managers have reviewed the proposals that were received. We received 3 proposals from Green Waste Recovery, Recology, and Waste Management. After reviewing all the proposals and analyzing the the data, the city managers are recommending rejection of all proposals due to the significant increase to the rates for the customers. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have, but it's pretty straightforward as far as rates. That was the main factor for the city manager's recommendation. There was a significantly higher than what you currently have.
Any questions from the council? If not, I will entertain a motion on J2.
Just really quick, we also included in the recommendation that the city council direct your city manager to enter into discussions with the two incumbent waste haulers, which are Tri-Cities Disposal and Waste Management, for a potential extension of a contract.
Okay. So move. Need a second?
Okay.
Moved in second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. J3, a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield, awarding a public works contract in the amount of $141,300 to F. LaDuca Company to construct the interim dewatering unit site improvements project, and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute the contract. Approve a 10% construction contingency of $14,200 and approve a construction management and inspection amount of $2,000. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor White and City Council members. So we're coming to you to award a public works contract to Frank LaDuca and Company for interim site improvements at the wastewater treatment plant in order to facilitate the delivery and running of the belt press, which is actually going to take care of the sludge, which we're already in contract with. It's being constructed right now, and we will be leasing that. So these interim improvements will be placed at the wastewater treatment plant and be done for delivery of this unit to be able to run. So what we did is we went ahead and advertised for bids back in August, and in September on the 21st, that was when the bids were due. We only had one responsive bidder. And so the bid was still evaluated the same way as if there were multiple bids, and everything was responsive. The bid price actually came out 37% higher than the engineer's estimate. And we analyzed that and determined that it was acceptable in the best interest of the city. The original engineer's estimate did appear low at bid advertisement, and staff was actually not surprised that the actual bid amount submitted was higher. And it has been determined by the city engineer and the public works director that the bid is responsive and pricing is acceptable and appropriate in the amount of $141,300. Frank LaDuca, I'm sure you're already familiar with them. They're a general engineering contractor based out of Stockton. The firm has considerable experience with custom signs, parks, streets, all kinds of different things. And it requires special engineering to do what they're doing. But we're looking at signing the contract with them tomorrow. And if council does approve this contract, and moving forward as quickly as possible to get those improvements going. I do want to point out a typo in the first paragraph of my staff report, and I do apologize. It said that there needed to be a supplemental appropriation, and I failed to delete that. There does not need to be a supplemental appropriation. I wanted to clarify that. The project will be funded through an existing CIP, and that, excuse me, that has a balance that exceeds $157,000. And the award amount is $141,300, and we're recommending contingency funds in the amount of $14,200, about 10%, for unexpected project delays and scope changes, which are also within that current budget. Inspection is going to be completed in-house by the public works director, myself, but we're going to recommend a $2,000 construction management inspection budget for incidental costs related to building permits and inspections that are outside of my scope, as well as a final inspection walkthrough by the design engineer. So the estimated total of the project would be $157,500. And staff is recommending that City Council adopt the proposed resolution and award the construction contract to Frank LaDuca Company and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the construction contract as outlined in the staff report.
Right. Any public comments on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council. Questions?
I have one quick question. Why was the city engineer's estimate 37% or in excess of 30% lower?
So it was actually not the city engineer who did the estimate. It was Hydroscience, who is designing our wastewater plant. And one of their first items to tackle was actually how to handle the sludge and dewatering in the meantime.
Right.
They have not done work down in this area before, and it is a little bit more expensive to do work here than up in the Bay Area because of the services not being here for construction services. So it isn't surprising. We have to pay travel, we have to pay as a part of this is hotels, expenses and things like that to do work here. Local contractors that we did send it to, I think we sent it to 7 or 8 total contractors, and 3 of them right off the get-go said that they would not be bidding. So we're just having a harder time getting local contractors. And so that does raise the price up a little bit as well.
Any other questions?
My question isn't really specific to this, just general, because I'm still learning a lot. How common is it for us to only get one bid on when you put something out like this?
It is common. Typically, we get at least 2 in the projects that since I have been here that we've gone out to bid on. 2 of them have come back with a sole bid, and there's probably 4 or 5.
I see this is for site prep. How long will the site prep take, and how long until we get up and running on it?
So until the council approves and we sign the contract, that's when the contractor would provide me with a schedule. They know that we want to fast track this as well. They are available to do so. So I don't know their total time commitment, but it would be under the amount of days that were specified in the contract specifications. And apologize, I don't have those on hand to tell you the number of working days that is.
Yeah, expedite as quickly as possible. Let's get this up and running.
One more quick question.
Sure.
Normally, when one of these comes before council, the contract is included in the package. Is there any reason why it was at this time?
It's a boilerplate. Yeah, we just haven't been including them in the package. We can, if you would like, we can start including them again.
Yeah, maybe in the future we have.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you. All right. There's no more questions. I'll entertain a motion on item J3. I have a motion to second. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. J4, a resolution, City Council, City of Greenfield approving a supplemental appropriation in an amount of $52,000 for the Public Works Parks, Security and Safety for fiscal year 2023-2024. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The purpose of this item is to make a budget adjustment that will fund the addition of lights, cameras, and other safety improvements to citywide parks. Phase 1. This is not the whole thing, just phase 1.
We just need to correct the amount to 52,000.
Okay. I guess the purpose is still the same. Yes. City staff taking direction from council members as well as the Parks and Rec Committee. We've researched potential improvements that can be made to various parks and open spaces throughout the city to increase park security and safety. Through interdepartmental coordination of the city manager's office, the rec department, police department, and public works, we've determined that approaching the security safety issue should be phased in so as not to overwhelm current staffing, and at the same time address security and safety issues in our parks. During our discussions, we determined that a phased approach would address the most pressing problems first, and a multi-departmental approach would ensure that any proposed solutions would address the widest scope of issues possible. Council, public members have all found that our parks have been the victims of much abuse, including vandalism to both equipment and to restrooms, graffiti, public urination, littering, and the potential for unsafe pedestrian traffic if lighting is not adequate. All of these issues discourage the use of our parks by at least some segments of our community, and that is a problem. To address these security concerns, we identified what we feel is the most effective and efficient path forward. We've identified, I think, 5 locations: Vintage Park on 3rd Street, Parkside Park between Parkside and Hutchinson, Greenfield Community Park at 3rd and Apple, 5th Street Park, 5th and Apple, and the property next to Hicks Park, ECR and Palm, which will be the new location of the Tom Rogers Museum and the Greenfield Visitor Center as the most consistently abused and the most vulnerable parks to start. We determined that the best way to address the abuses is 2-pronged: increase the lighting available in the park space and to monitor the park activity with cameras. Our program includes the following: at Vintage Park, install 2 to 4 lights to be determined oriented towards the walking paths, along with 2 cameras that could monitor activities parkwide. At Parkside Park, install 2 lights and 2 cameras with the same intent. At Greenfield Community Park, where the lighting isn't quite an issue, install 2 cameras. At the 5th Street Park, install bollards to keep vehicles from driving onto the grass. The problem here is that the current fences keep getting vandalized. The bollards will still allow pedestrian traffic, but will block vehicles from entering. This would eliminate the fencing problem. They keep getting cut. And at the Tom Rogers Museum and the Greenfield Visitor Center, the building for the museum and center is expected to be delivered in mid-November. We'd like to install 2 cameras to monitor the area, especially after the building arrives, so that we can deter graffiti and vandalism. The cost of the 4 to 6 solar lights, the 6 cameras, the motion sensors on both cameras and lights, bollards, and installation is expected to be in the range of $52,000. The cameras will be coordinated with the existing citywide surveillance cameras and be monitored by the police department. As an aside, as many of you commented on tonight, so the safety portion of this initiative is already underway. It's the replacement of the wood chips in all city parks beneath the playground equipment. The playground equipment also by the end of the month. Many of the items that are either missing or need repair will be rectified by the end of this month. And this has already been budgeted for. So with that, I will take any questions.
All right. I'll open it up for public comment.
Good evening, Council. My name is Raul Rodriguez, 325 Oak Avenue, and I'm a member of the Greenfield Parks and Rec Committee. And we work with Jesus, our Recreation Director. And I'm here to express my support for the funds for the $52,000 for the lighting and the cameras. The committee has, for months now, been speaking about the safety and about especially what is it, on 3rd Street, Vintage Park, I believe. That's a tough one. There's a lot of issues, but the committee has really focused on how we can make the places safer. And myself, Mark McClure, Gloria Uribe, and our chair, Jose Vasquez, and Lourdes Villarreal. We're the Park and Recs Committee. And like I said, we've talked for many months, so we're all very happy to see this. And I think it will make a lot of difference in people feeling comfortable around the parks. So thank you for considering this.
Thank you. Any other comments? If not, I'll bring it back to council for questions.
2 quick questions. One is, can you provide us at some point in the future with the rest of the phased approach to determine how this is going to go about?
Yes, we wanted to make sure we had some kind of evaluation and see how this first thing goes.
Absolutely. The second question is are those cameras going to be low light or no light capable as well as light capable?
It will be whatever they need to be to work. Yes.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure that we're seeing everything that's going on. If the lights are out, I want to make sure we're still seeing what's going on.
I don't have so much of a question. I have more of a comment. I know that we've been having issues from all over the community concerns when it comes to our camera systems that we have. Some feel that, they've been caught in the middle of situations and the cameras have not really been helpful because of the response that we get from PD. And sadly, we don't have Chief Mixer in the room, so he could probably address those concerns or questions. But I just feel like this is really not the ultimate solution. Like just putting cameras, like that's not going to take away all the different vandalism or breaking of items or urinating in public, whatever the case might be. And I've said it many times and I will state it again, as long as we take back our communities, and when I say we, is not just the council, but you public that is out there listening to us, you guys have to be involved at the parks. You guys have to remind your children what is good and what is bad, from how not to damage these equipments, because they cost the city money, a lot of money, and even to be able to replace that. But I think the initiative that the city should be taking, or at least passing it along, is that we need to take back our parks. And by taking back our parks, I mean we being present there, hosting events. And I've been doing that in the past, and I really want to give kudos to Councilwoman Ortiz for doing that, because that's exactly how you take back your parks. And community and folks that really don't have anything else and they want to put their energy into bad use, they understand that this is a city park. It's being utilized by children, by families. So I shouldn't be doing these things, right? So I just feel like cameras, yes, it's a step moving forward, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to be the solution, because we already have issues when it comes to our citywide cameras that people have questions about. Are they working? Sometimes they're not working. Sometimes the lack of response from PD. So my thing is, I support it, but I feel that we really need to do more in hosting activities at parks, really making sure that and taking that initiative of taking back our parks. So people could see it's you being utilized, not just by Public Works doing their job, but we as council hosting small gatherings, like again, Council Member Ortiz has done in the past and I've done in the past. It's really taking those parks back. So hopefully I get my message across.
Any other questions or comments?
How long is phase one going to be, Paul? Like, when are you going to sort of sit down with the PD and figure out like how the cameras are working? If if we want to order the same ones for the rest of the parks and then start phase two.
Okay, so the biggest time constraint is the actual delivery on the lights. That has been already estimated to us to be 12 weeks. So it does not, I understand that it doesn't take all that long to actually install either the cameras or the lights. We've already gone through an iteration of trying to determine where they might go. So that much has been pretty well looked at. It's really the time constraint is the fact that it's going to take 12 weeks supposedly to get the lighting. After that, after we actually get what we can get, it shouldn't take all that long. Then it's a matter of making sure that we've got it monitoring correctly, making sure that the sensors are working, because I mean that I agree with Councilmember Martinez. We need to own that space. This doesn't do that necessarily, but what hopefully it does, and you meant this as well, is that it helps deter people. When the lights go on, when you make a motion and you get your spray can out, that might deter somebody if they think that's going to happen and it's going to be recorded. So we'll have to spend an amount of time. But if the installation goes well, I mean, we can certainly do the planning for the next phase, whatever that is, and it has not yet been determined what it is. And we're looking for input from everybody, from Parks and Rec to council to the public, as to what phase two should be. We can get started on that as soon as we make sure that we get all this ordered, so that we're kind of in a, at least here, we're kind of in a slow period as far as this project goes.
Yeah.
I just said when they put the chips in there, probably was like about 15 minutes later that there was families out there. And so they're really happy about that. I did go out there and talk to them, the few people that were out there regarding lights and cameras, and they're really happy about that. Again, during the daytime, it's really important that we do like Councilmember Martinez said, you know, we have to own these parks. We have to get out there, and I really do encourage you, you know, to grab a park and host an event and just have at it. You know, when I did the one in the beginning, there was maybe 5 people there, and it turned out to about 30 people. Plus, we had the fire department and rec center and the police department there. There was somebody on social media that said, well, we should do like King City's doing. They were having block parties as well. We are doing it because Councilmember Martinez has done it before and I started. So like I said, I really encourage everybody to get involved. The cameras are going to come really in handy. For instance, Saturday night, one of our neighbors they always have parties, but it's always a good time. They're a little crazy Saturday. And it went from 12 midnight till 5 o'clock in the morning. Police did come. They did take somebody, but after they left, it continued, and it was in the park. It was in the park. All of the neighbors the next day, we were all outside. We're like, all we know is some guy named Rafa. That's all we know. And so, you know, we were kind of saying, you know, maybe if the lights had been on, cameras had been on, not that they would arrest somebody, but maybe it would have stopped them from fighting. You know, they were seeing that, you know, there's people watching you. And that's kind of what we're hoping for in the neighborhood where I live, is that it'll stop some of the vandalism. Although I do have to say the last couple of months have been really good since we have that park gathering. Talking to our neighborhood people, we've told them, you know, don't be afraid to call the police. If something looks suspicious, call. And everybody's been doing that. And so, you know, that fear of being found out or something, you know, we've got to get rid of that. And that's what helps with the police department being there, you know, and letting the community know that, you know, you're not going to get in trouble. Nobody's going to know. You can do it anonymously, but, you know, be vigilant about what's happening in our community. But I, for one, am so happy. I've been living in that home for 38 years, and it's dark at night. It's really dark. My car was just vandalized last week. You know, I have cameras, but it just so happened that the window where they did it was just out of the shot of the camera, and you know, nothing that little vacuum didn't do. But still, you know, for somebody who can't clean it or fix something, you know, it gets really bad. So I'm really happy that you're doing this, and I hope that the council approves that.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adopt resolution 2023-129.
So moved.
Second. Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right. Move to J5. Resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield, making appointments to the South Salinas Valley Broadband Authority. Oral report, please.
You? All right, let me find it here. So I think it's incumbent upon the council. We've got a seat on the South Salinas Valley Broadband Authority. That seat was vacated when Mayor Pro Tem Antolon left, and so it needs to be reappointed.
Okay. Yeah, I know I'm the alternate on that one, I believe, but so it'd be the primary seat.
Yes, would be the primary seat.
Mr. Tipton, are you interested? You were on that before.
I did it before. I'll do it again.
I'll go out to public comments to see if there's any public comment. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion on J5. Well, we'll check with Ann on that, but all right. Then move to, we appoint Mr. Tipton to that seat.
Well, let's check. We have a public comment.
Oh, do we have a public comment?
Hi, I heard a comment earlier about mental health. I know, is it appropriate or not about mental health?
Not at this point. No, this is a
Okay.
different item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion on the table, correct?
Yeah.
I need a second.
Second.
Then moved in second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. We'll move to city attorney report.
I have nothing to report.
All right. City manager report.
Nothing from me. Thank you.
All right. With that, I think that's the end of the agenda. So meeting is adjourned.